recording. All right. Welcome, everyone. It's so good to have you this evening. Dr. Stan and I have been looking forward to doing this Zoom tonight. Initially, we were doing this for a vendor event we did this weekend in Tryon, North Carolina. Just met some amazing people, and we've invited all of them to jump on here tonight and get more information. And so, if you are new, to this, what we're going to be talking tonight to you about is just the newest in stem cell technology with a little bitty patch that just does amazing things. And like I told everyone I met this weekend, I thought it was the hokiest thing I had ever heard of when I first heard about it. But when my friend Alicia Waters told me that after 43 days, she saw a turnaround in her terminal cancer, I was like, okay, maybe I need to look into this. And, Stan and I started using it, and I started doing it for carpal tunnel syndrome. And within, I'd say 3 weeks, my carpal tunnel was probably 75% better. And I had gotten it from a cleaning business that I had at the time. And I continued to clean 40 hours a week for about a year or two, but that carpal tunnel was completely gone in about 6 months and has never come back. And that's been 3 years since it was totally gone. And when Stan, does his little science and tech, he can tell you why he started to use the patch. But we just saw amazing results. And right after we decided we were going to try it, we got a call from our friend April to tell us about her results. And so, April, if you can tell everybody just quickly, what was going on with you before you heard about this technology, and how did you hear about it, and what happened in the first, 2 to 4 months, and since then?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Jody and Stan. Just good friends I've known for many, many years, and I love to see their progress too. It's just been a wonderful, wonderful 4 years. My name, like Jody said, is April Vaughn, and I live in Spartanburg, South Carolina. And I learned about this wonderful wearable light technology. I can't believe it's been 4.5 years ago. And at the time, I've been told I had lupus, then I was told I had Lyme disease, and I was really in a severe chronic pain head to toe. There was nothing that really didn't hurt. Frozen shoulders, all my knuckles were so red hot and swollen and tight. My feet was like, when I would walk, it was like walking on glass. I had gut issues, dry eye floaters. I mean, I had a lot of things going on at the time, and I had got an emergency visit with a rheumatologist. And when I was seeing her that day, she said, April, you have RA, you definitely have rheumatoid arthritis. You are really, really sick. She said, you're gonna be and I'm afraid you're gonna be in a wheelchair by Christmas, number one, she said. And then she said also, we need to go ahead and put you in the hospital because I'm afraid you're gonna have a heart attack or stroke because your C-reactive protein is off the charts. And I couldn't believe it because I think if you've lived in chronic pain, it just gets progressively worse and worse and worse and worse. And then I was obviously really strong-willed and dealing with it and trying to put up with it all this time. And then you know it was getting worse and worse. And so I really just didn't know. I didn't know exactly what to do. And anyway, she I was leaving from that appointment, and that's when she said to me, she's like, April, you know, also the medication to give me bleeding ulcers. I had bleeding ulcers, and so it was kind of, I was in a crisis point for sure. I was in a major crisis. So says I'm leaving from there. That's by divine intervention. A friend called me as I was leaving from there, and she started telling me about the patches. And I said, she had been really sick herself. And she said, well, you know what? I'll meet you and give you some of these. And so she met me in my town in the mall parking lot and handed me three of the X39, three of the Eon, and three of a patch called Alavita. Those are just ones that she had in her kit that she bought. And a lady told her those are the ones that would be best for me to use. And so she hands me three of each of those. And then I start doing my research. And she was just like, she started telling me, what to do. And she said, wear them 12 hours on and 12 hours off. And I was like, okay, I don't know. And I didn't know what in the world it was about. But she talked about how it was activate the stem cells is about all she knew. And some of them would help with pain. So she wasn't in the business, anything like that. She was just simply, she was better. She had red hot swollen knees, lots of gut issues, lots and lots of pain. And so she started, but I see her. That's the main thing. I see her and I know she's better because I'd known the lady over 10 years and I knew how sick she was. So I knew this had to work. But I got home and I thought, I'm going to research this. This sounds really interesting because I knew how sick she was. And I turned over the little patch, and on the back of it, it said X39. And I went to YouTube and just typed that in honestly. And the very first thing that came up was David Smith talking about this wearable light technology patch, how it activates our GHK copper peptide. And I was so impressed with all the things she was telling me. And then I watched the next one on Eon, and he says it's a broad spectrum anti-inflammatory and it'll reduce all your inflammatory markers, including C-reactive protein. And I was like, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. And then David Smith also, I felt so connected to him with his character, his values, his beliefs. He was talking about God in different verses throughout the Bible where they reference light. And I was like, oh my gosh, how did I not know about this all these years? Because I'd been in the health space for over 20 years myself, but I'd never heard about this technology. And then I watched the other one on Alavita. And then I watched another also an energy enhancer. And I found out that's where the company started 20 years prior for our Navy SEALs. So I knew that this couldn't hurt me. I'm learning that it's non-transdermal. I'm learning that each patch costs about $2 or $3 a day. So I had absolutely nothing to lose and everything to gain. So I started patching, and right away the pain went down massively in my hands, feet, head to toe. The frozen shoulder went away so fast. Each and every day the results were progressive. And then by 4 months, I go back to the doctor. And on the fourth month in August, I went back to the doctor, feeling great, taking no medication at all, methotrexate, prednisone, hydroxychloroquine, no more, nothing, not even an Advil. And I'm in the robe and she's pressing my knuckles and she's pressing my shoulders and she's like, does this hurt? Does this hurt? Does this hurt? And she's pressing all around. And I'm like, no, no. And she can't believe that I don't have any pain. Because, if you've ever known anybody with RA, it is progressive and you just get worse and worse. You feel, it doesn't get better. It's crippling, debilitating. And she's like, what is it that you're doing? This doesn't make any sense. And then she pulls up my blood work. That was first. We're looking at it side by side to 4 months prior, and then we're looking at it from right now. And they're seeing that the C-reactive protein is better than normal. It was 0.03, where before it was off the charts. And I said, well, I am wearing this little peptide, GHK copper peptide activation patch. It activates your stem cells. And I told her a little bit about it. And then she put her hand up and she just said, well, I don't know. But she said that I don't want to hear any more about that. That could put me out of business. And I thought, wow, isn't that interesting? She didn't really want to hear anything about it. And her waiting room, is full of people that are on canes and walkers and all of it's children, children with juvenile diabetes and things. There are juvenile arthritis and every age and race, but they're all very much in severe pain. So that was 4 months. And then you guys, since then, it's just got progressively better. Everything that I mentioned in the beginning has gone away. I don't take any medications. And Jody and Stan and I, we get to travel the world together and just teach and train more about these wonderful patches. And I love it. I love my life. And I love being able to share something with people every day. I feel like it's my job to share this with others because why not? It's affordable, it's non-transdermal, and yeah, don't you think so, Dawn? Isn't it the most wonderful? Dr. Stan, isn't it? It's wonderful.
It's amazing.
Wonderful.
It's amazing. And interesting thing, you got about 2 or 3 minutes, April. April has two children with a genetic disorder that are now in their 20s that have been sick their whole life. And Grace, I know, is there with her. The funny thing about Grace is Grace had patches for a year before she put them on. And I love Grace, but it has made just tremendous difference for her children. Not in the hospital anymore. No problems really since they've been patching, have they? Well, there's
No.
John.
Yeah. There,
Oh,
I'm sorry.
wait, don't do it. Don't do it.
Oh, she's gonna go sit back. There's John. There's her husband, and there's Grace. But yeah, it's made a tremendous difference in Grace's life. She struggled with a blood disorder 20 years, and here she is, another patcher over that's 27 years old.
A blood disorder. I've had my spleen and gallbladder removed when I was 5, so that helped with a lot of issues with anemia and needing blood transfusions. But once I had my spleen and gallbladder out, it was like a lifetime sentence to the doctor and hospitals in and out, in and out. I missed so much school. Even in college, I caught meningitis. If there's anything going around, I was going to get it. And I developed a really bad case of being a germaphobe and also health anxiety. And that got really bad. I got anxiety, almost like debilitating anxiety. And because of the patches, I'm not on any antidepressants. I don't take any medicine at all, and I don't get sick. I can have a cold or the sniffles, but it not turn into pneumonia. And for me, that's life changing. It's completely changed my life in every way.
Absolutely. Yeah, I remember all the years 2016, 17, 18, all the times you and Jake were in the hospital and
We got
April.
hit for prayer requests because we were sick so much.
Yep, and April would ask for prayer and at times wondered if you guys were going to make it. And to see you, like Jake is what, 4 years, um, not being in the hospital, not being sick,
Yep.
and you're about 2.5 now since you were a little stubborn getting started with the patches.
Because I wasn't living at home, so if mom's calling me and telling me to buy stickers, I'm like, yeah, whatever. We tried everything holistic. That's what's going to do it, but it was. And we were always irritated at first. Like, there's no way it was that easy. It's been sitting in my drawer for 2.5 years, and that's all it took.
And you felt it within what, 4 or 5 hours?
Within a few hours, I felt the lift from anxiety like a black cloud. It was almost like opening up blinds and just letting light in. I felt so much better. And my fever even released because I was really sick with COVID for time number 6 whenever I started with the patches. So it was mental and physical. So
Wow.
much better.
Well, thank you guys so much. They're busy, busy people. We appreciate you stopping what you're doing to jump on with us. Thank you, April, for sharing. And Dr. Stan, for people that are new, what are we talking about that makes this much difference in people's lives?
Well, we're actually talking about a patch, a Band-Aid, and it looks just like that, a round Band-Aid that you would get out of a Band-Aid box, but instead of the center being a cotton absorbent type of material, our inventor, David Smith, that was mentioned earlier, has invented a patch that actually absorbs your own light into the patch, spins it in the crystals, and bounces it back into the body at certain wave frequencies to trigger certain biological functions, just like the sun does. When the sun hits the body, sun doesn't have vitamin D, but it triggers vitamin D production, hormonal production, and many other biological functions on us and the earth. Well, if we're alive, we have infrared light heat energy that emanates from our body. And David, being the inventor he was, I guess he was sitting around one day thinking, what if we could harness that energy and use it to benefit? And he was working with the Navy SEALs. And it was 20 years ago, a little over 20 years ago now. Our company celebrated 20 years last year. And David was an engineer. He created technology. He's also very interested in biology and how people, why some people live longer, animals. And he did a lot of research in stem cells. And the first patching system, as April said, was an energy enhancer patching system that would stimulate mitochondrial energy in the body. Well, you spin forward to about 4 or 5 years ago, and he finally learned how, through the X39 patch, to stimulate a GHK copper peptide in your body, which will tell your stem cells to wake up that have been dormant for years and to start working and replicating and duplicating and going into the body and rejuvenating whatever it is that's wearing out, broke down, or has problems. So that is the only peptide that can stimulate those stem cells, and those pluripotent stem cells are the only cells that can turn into any cell in the body and rebuild what needs to be damaged. As we grow older, as we know, we get to be 30, stem cell activity on average is around 50%. Fast forward to 60, and it gets there fast, believe me. You get to 60, and on average, people are right around 0 to 30%, which is why by the time we hit 70, we have pretty much no stem cell activity, which is why, unfortunately, people die between what, 70 and 80 years old on average. So, what this technology will do when you put it on your body, it naturally activates your own stem cells without drugs, pharmaceuticals, nutraceuticals. Nothing goes into the body. It's just a reflection plate, so to speak. And it just bounces your own light energy back into the body and stimulates biological functions in the body that can reset the day that you were born. You can start literally getting younger. One of the things I was impressed with this company is that all of our technology, the X39, you heard about Alavita Energy Enhancer, all of our patches go through clinical studies. And the clinical studies are then prove that what we're telling you is actually happening, and it's patented so that it can't be duplicated by anybody else. So this technology is affordable, it's simple. You put it on your body once a day. Most of the patches are worn during the day, except for a couple. So you put it on your body, you wear it for 12 hours, take it off, discard it, wake up the next day, put a brand new patch on, and start the process all over. And then you can start to see how your body can begin to literally turn back the clock of time and see a lot of things like April and Grace, all of us, my blood pressure dropped 30 points in 3 weeks, Jody's carpal tunnel, because what we're doing is sending the stem cells into the body to rebuild, repair, heal, and restore and make you live younger, healthier, longer, and better. It's just that simple. A little patch, a little band aid that harnesses the power of light and uses it to restore and rejuvenate your body. All right, Jody, back to you.
Am I unmuted? Okay.
You're back. You're back now.
I'm back. Sorry, I was talking to myself. We want to answer your questions. You can unmute yourself or you can throw your question in the chat. We do want you guys to know that, this is not something, even though April started to feel something her first week, I was feeling something by 2 weeks, 3 weeks. For some people it takes longer, but that doesn't mean it's not working. Like within the first few days, within 24 hours, the X39 upregulates 3 to 4,000 genes. And we have a little handout I can send to you guys. Get back to the person that invited you and ask them for it. But it's basically what to expect in the first 6 to 12 months. And it's broken down like every 3 months, different systems in the body that, we have been able to prove are changing and improving. So, you do want to give it time. I try to get people to give it at least 6 months. If you're older than 60, you might want to give it longer than that. But it is working from day one. But who has questions? Anybody? Unmute. Does one patch treat several issues? Hey, Eva, that is a great question. Dr. Stan, can one patch treat several issues?
Absolutely. When you activate your stem cells, they intuitively know where to go into the body and begin to repair and heal whatever it is that's compromised, broken down, been hurt, injured, etc. So yes, that's the good news. Like for myself, when we first started patching, we started sleeping better. We started getting more energy. Um, we noticed a lot of nice things. Wow, it was repairing the other parts of our body. So yes, when you put this on, it will go into the body and help wherever the body needs aid. Good question.
Yes. And Eva, I remember about, well, Dr. Stan and I both started sleeping better in the first 7 to 10 days, and that was huge for us. And then my carpal tunnel was noticeably better after 2 to 3 weeks. But I heard someone else's testimony about their heart and their AFib going away. And that was not anything I was patching for, but I had had AFib for 10 years. And when I heard that, I was like, oh man, I need to go listen to my heart. And sure enough, it was 90 days. I was using X39 and Eon, and it had been 90 days. So I don't know when it happened, but my heart was beating normally for the first time in 10 years. And it's beat normally ever since then. We've been doing this almost 4 years. So yes, X39 and stem cells will address a lot of different problems. Anybody else? How long would you recommend a new person be on X39 and Eon before trying other patches, Dr. Stan?
Well, we always recommend everybody to start first and foremost with X39. No matter what budget you're on, this is the most important patch you put on your body. And essentially, it will do what every patch in our arsenal of patches will do. It's just that when you add the other patches, you are assisting the X39 stem cell activation patch to concentrate more on stem cell activity instead of having to deal with inflammation or invaders in the body. So it's always best for most people, especially, to start with just X39 and Eon. If a person, wants to add that, that's a good patch to add. It can be used at night. Eon is one patch that can be used in the day or the evening. It is a patch that not just gets inflammation out of the body, it helps to relax your nervous system. It helps you to be more calm and at ease. In fact, it has been called the lavender patch because it's a soothing patch to your body. So those are two good patches to start with, because a lot of times if you start adding a bunch of more patches, your body can get overwhelmed with detoxification and other things. It's usually best to go slow and easy. And so we recommend start out with X39, maybe add the Eon after that. And then if someone has trouble sleeping, and X39, the good news is that alone could help you to sleep better. Most people, in fact, the two things that people notice first and foremost, usually within the first 60 to 90 days, is better sleep and better energy. So X39 by itself could do those things for you. Eon will boost those effects if you want to add that either in the day or at night. As far as patching goes, all patches come with an instruction booklet. Most of them, you just put it behind the neck or below the belly button, and you'll get all the results you need with any type of condition in your body. And then, as far as lowering blood pressure and disease and stuff like that, again, X39 stimulates your stem cells to go into the body to assist the body to heal itself. We don't prescribe, diagnose, or treat any specific medical condition. We're not medical doctors. If you have medical questions, you would need to talk to your doctor about that or your practitioner about those things. But it is amazing how when you start activating your own stem cells, it goes in and starts to repair and heal whatever it is that's causing these abnormalities in your body, which is great, and it says, besides the X39, what helps with high cholesterol? Again, there's no patch that specifically helps with high cholesterol. It's just that the patches are stimulating your body's own ability to heal itself. And so X39 obviously can help with that, but there's a lot of issues that go in with high cholesterol. We really don't have time to go in and answer all those differences. But X39 is definitely going to help your cardiovascular system. Glutathione patches, will they help get rid of heavy metals? Yes, I mean, we do. I call glutathione, for those that don't know what it is, it's an antioxidant patch. I call it the Pac-Man. It goes into the body to eat up the garbage and help to take out the garbage. As far as that goes. So yes, it is a garbage collector, which could assist with the elimination. As far as a website, you need to get back to the person who invited you to this wonderful podcast and let them give you the information you are seeking. And then adverse reactions, well, you might start reverse aging and getting younger. But that's not adverse. The biggest thing we've had is sometimes people hair, especially the ladies that like their silver hair. Sometimes when you start using X39, your hair will start getting darker again. And for some of the ladies, that's adverse. So you got to weigh out, do you want to live longer and healthier or have silver hair? It's kind of not much of a choice there. I thought I saw something else. If someone has trouble sleeping and limited income, yes, they could wear the Eon at night, but I would just say wear the X39. And can it help with knees that are heading towards replacement? Yes. Don't have time to get into all the protocols, but
we can get you more
we
information.
can get you more information. Some of these things we could spend a long time with.
StartX39now.com.
Yeah, that's one place to get information. Yeah.
Dr. Tim, we appreciate you coming on today. Dr. Tim uses this in his practice. Do you have a testimony or two? We have about 3 minutes left that you want to share.
Yeah, we have several testimonies, so many I can't even comprehend. We had a little girl about 6 years old, and she autistic spectrum, and she came in the office about 5 weeks ago, and she was climbing the walls. You couldn't have a conversation with her, and we patched her up with. We actually used carnosine. We found carnosine, and each week she came in, you could speak to her more and more. Like her body was calming down. Her health was being boosted, and now you can have a conversation with this little girl.
Wow.
We've had patients, back pain and neck pain. We get the worst of the worst patients in our office, and what's nice is we use a lot of Ice Wave, we use a lot of Eon. As the patient is stabilizing, we can patch them with this non-transdermal technology, and it's going to help them in the healing process. And we do a lot of X39 and, of course, the stem cell patches, because regardless of what your problem is, X39, you get that stem cell reaction, and those stem cells go where they need to go throughout the body so you can heal up. And with them being non-transdermal, you can wear them with any condition.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So they don't interfere with medications, and
they do not interfere with medications.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. Thank you, Dr. Tim. Dr. Stan, anything else before we close out here?
No, I just want to encourage everybody to realize that, when you ask us specific medical questions, we cannot answer those questions, number one, because no matter even if we were, whether we're a medical doctor or not, you're not our patient and we can't address, whatever your symptoms are. But rest assured, one thing we do know, when you put the stem cell activation patch on your body, it will elevate your body's ability to heal, restore itself naturally without any outside things. It will not, like I said, interfere with medications or anything, but as always, if you're concerned about that, you need to go see your medical doctor for medical advice. But this is all natural, non-transdermal, and safe, and even better, it's affordable.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys for jumping on tonight. We hope this information has been beneficial. But the main way to figure all this out is to start using it. Start using it, get back with the person that invited you. They can help you get the very lowest wholesale and even below wholesale price so that we can make this affordable for you so that you can get your own testimonies of recovery. But I just encourage you to give it time. Don't expect a miracle in 30 days, even though most of us saw changes in 30 days. It takes longer. It didn't take you 30 days to get arthritis or diabetes or whatever you have. And so it takes longer than that to heal. But this is the best thing that Dr. Stan and I, Dr. Tim, have come across in our decades in the wellness industry, and just a life-changing product. So get back with the person that invited you, get more information, and we hope that you will jump on board and give this a good 6 months to see how it can change your life.